Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Good evening, everybody. Mike's working good. Mike's working check. I think we're good. Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to Game Over Winnipeg's post-game show of tonight's game between the Winnipeg Jets and the Minnesota Wild. My name is Ty Dilello, and I'm the host here at Game Over Winnipeg. And I'm pleased to be here with you after another victory. Another victory for the Winnipeg Jets as the Jets move to 18-4 to start the season. Knocking off the number 2 team in the NHL tonight by a 4-1 score. Not the Jets' best game. We'll obviously talk about that. But the Jets, find a way to get it done. To knock off a very good, in-form Minnesota Wild team. Connor Hellebuyck obviously gets full credit, full marks for his performance tonight. He was outstanding, to put it lightly. It kind of looked like it was going to be another one of those rough nights that we had seen, like when the Jets lost to, Tampa and Florida, a little while back, when Minnesota went up 1-0 off a Jake Middleton goal. I was really worried it was going to be one of those nights. But then they turned it around. Quickly. I think it was about a minute later that Iafallo scored off a nice pass from Rasmus Kupari. Obviously, in the second period, Minnesota came on really strong. They were, close many a times, getting the go-ahead goal. But Hellebuyck was outstanding. The game really shifted. I felt like, when Niederreiter scored to make it 2-1, I think the air kind of went out of the building. Up until that point, the Minnesota Wild were, I would say, like triple our shots. I think it was like 33, 11 at one point. But then after that, the game kind of shifted, and the Jets kind of got some momentum and were, getting some chances, and kind of rode the wave the rest of the way. In the third period it was still 2-1. And Alex Iafallo scored his, second goal of the game. A great night for the fourth line. Him scoring a power play goal too. On that power play, Arniel went out with the second unit. And they scored. Iafallo from Pionk and Perfetti, redirecting a Pionk shot. And then Adam Lowry scored in the empty net to make it 4-1, and that's all she wrote. Connor Hellebuyck, I think, his most saves this year, 43 saves. Just fantastic. Philippe Gustafson was also good, I thought, in the Minnesota Wild net. Let's get into an ad read before we kind of dive into it here. Hyperdrive Hockey, title sponsor. Check out the flagship show of the Game Over Network. On the Game Over Network channel, Hyperdrive Hockey, all things hockey across various leagues in multiple countries. Whatever it is and wherever it is, Max, Daphne, and Kev, kind of have you covered for all of your hockey news with a steady dose of fun and fan engagement. You can find Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or on the Hyperdrive Hockey page at our website, thegameovernetwork.com. Have kind of had you covered for all. Like I said, it was a very, it obviously wasn't the Jets' best performance tonight, by any stretch of the imagination. They really weathered the storm, for the first half of the game, and then we were able to turn it up the second half. There still wasn't, apart from Connor Hellebuyck's performance tonight, there wasn't a ton of stuff that I was liking. Sure, they were making better. The ice seemed better. They're making better passes. The puck was staying on their stick better, but they were getting hemmed, in their defensive zone for much of the first half of the game. And also, like, Connor, Scheifele, Velarde 5-on-5. Jesus Christ. Like, how many times do we have to talk about this? Like, they're they are really bad. Like, when they're not, when they're not the ones in the offensive zone, when it's the other way around, like they can't get the puck back, like it's a shooting gallery for the other team. That's kind of a bit of a problem when you have three highly skilled offensive players that are not known for their defensive game at all. Play together on one line. That kind of thing happens. This line has consistently been outscored 5-on-5. Throughout their tenure together. And I don't think I don't know. I don't simple as putting Ehlers and Connor flipping them because Ehlers a defensive player. So yeah, it's a little bit of a frustrating thing because Connor and Scheifele, Velarde, they'll have a couple good shifts in a game where they're the ones getting chances, but when it's the other way, it's Kaprizov out on the other when they're on the ice. Feeding the puck to Boldy for many chances. Eriksson Ek is getting in that punch, and if Connor Hellebuyck didn't stand on his head tonight, the Jets could have got run out of that building in the first period and second period, and that Connor Scheifele Velarde line was partially to blame for some of those falters. I thought so. At the same time, I don't know exactly what what the Jets do. Like, do you put a defensively responsible player on the first couple of lines, like I'll say that second line of Ehlers, Perfetti, and Nemesnikov. At least Nemesnikov's defensively responsible, plays a two-way game. The third line, you kind of have three two-way players: Lowry, Appleton, Niederreiter. Does Nino ever play up there on one of the higher lines just to give some defense to the line because you're not always scoring? I don't know if that's the answer because we have such a good third line and we just kind of take these nights as they come. But it's something I think the coaching staff could experiment with, tinker with even in practice, and see about using it in the game. Because right now they're not doing much 5-on-5, and it's hurt the team tonight. So yeah, well, I don't want to harp too much on a winning night for the Jets. But yeah, it's just frustrating watching Connor Scheifele Velarde 5-on-5 lately. Let's hit another ad read. Anybody in the chat tonight after a big win for the NHL's hottest team? If you're in the chat, let me know. It'd be good to kind of riff a little bit with somebody. LaRouche, Game Over Network is an independent production focused on community, inclusion, and quality people. So if I would definitely check out the BlueSky app. Because it'll Anyways, should we talk about Ville Heinola? Made his Jets debut this season. Last game, Dylan Samberg went down with a broken foot. He's slated to be out 4 to 6 weeks. It's a loss, no doubt. Losing Samberg, he's taken some very nice strides this season. Playing in a top 4 role for the first time consistently night in, night out, and excelling, I would say. A lot of Jets, fans, call them kind of fan journalists, really kind of, maybe Chicken Little this one to death, the Samberg injury, thinking this, I heard so much, this is a major loss for the team. Like, this is, Samberg's irreplaceable. And I frankly, not that I don't buy that. It is a big loss, but it's not, losing a Dylan Samberg or losing a Josh Morrissey or losing a Connor Hellebuyck or losing a Mark Scheifele, Adam Lott. Like, it's not even close to if we are going to lose a decent player to injury, for a while, I think the Jets can do just fine in Samberg's absence. His defensive game has been great. He's been blocking a lot of shots. But I think we have some guys that can kind of step into a role and kind of hold down the fort until he gets back and, not have the Jets drop too much down in the standings. one of those players is going to be Ville Heinola, who made his Jets debut tonight, played his first game of the season. Obviously, Ville Heinola and Dylan Samberg cannot be any different for hockey players. Dylan Samberg's a big body, block shots, hits. While Ville Heinola is more of a small, skilled defenseman who can score, who can move the puck, who can make a great first pass, out of their zone. And then you have the likes of Hayden Fleury and Logan Stanley are also going to probably play, playing while Samberg's injured as well. And then when Samberg comes back, there's going to be some decisions to make, waiver wise. Dylan Coughlin's going to be the first one to go. That'll be when Logan Stanley comes back. You're going to see Dylan Coughlin go on waivers. I don't suspect anybody will claim him, and he'll go right to the Manitoba Moose. And then once Samberg is back, bearing any other injuries to the Jets D-corps, you're going to see Hayden Fleury as well likely go on waivers. I assume the Jets are going to keep Logan Stanley up. Not that I necessarily want to see that, but I think Hayden Fleury will go on waivers. There'll be a chance that he gets claimed, but another big. I also see him getting sent down to the Moose at the end of the day if that's the case. So yeah, Ville Heinola tonight. I have to say, I watched the whole game, and I wasn't really. I was watching the game. I wasn't specifically watching Ville Heinola's shifts. ISO camming him throughout the game. And I will say, I didn't notice him too much out there, which honestly is a good thing. When you're noticing, the Jets D-men, during it's usually because they're making a mistake, they're playing bad. So in that sense, I thought that Ville had a good quiet game tonight. He also drew that. You'd also say he had a great game because he drew the penalty, that led to the Jets going up 3-1 in the game. The Jets scored a power play goal off of Heinola getting taken down and drawing a penalty. I think I haven't heard Scott Arneal's post-game comments yet, but I assume they're going to be all positive. I think it's not. This isn't going to be a case of, is Heinola coming out of the lineup now? Are we giving him another game? It's yes. Ville's he's just in the lineup now. He's just a part of the Jets D-corps. He's sliding in nicely. He's going to get a runway of games, and we're going to see what we have in this young Finnish defenseman. We haven't had this yet, so it's going to be nice to see what we have. He's still only played 3 games this season. He's still coming, slowly kind of getting his, wheels back, and he's being thrown into the fire here in the National Hockey League. So it's fun, a little nerve-wracking, and I'm all here for it. I'm excited to see Ville again next game against LA. I'm excited to, hopefully, when he gets his first point, his first goal this season, it's going to be nice. I know Ville's got a lot of friends in the dressing room. He's a very popular player amongst his teammates. I think a lot of them are just very happy that he's in the lineup finally. He's had not so many, but he's had a couple of bad injuries the last 2 years that have kind of stunted him from playing the National Hockey League. He's certainly paid his dues with the Manitoba Moose. When he could have been playing in the National Hockey League for the Jets, he never asked for a trade, which he certainly had every right to. Maybe at some points when he felt like he was maybe being mistreated a little bit, mishandled, and was more NHL ready. While still having to marinate in the AHL. And through it all, Ville was a trooper. He's gone through his injuries, he's paid his dues, and now he's here in the NHL, and he's going to hopefully make the Winnipeg Jets D-corps better, for the rest of the season. And fingers crossed he can do that. He's definitely ready. So let's see what Ville's got. Good game tonight for Heinola, and let's see what he can do it against LA. So let's go to the next third period there. We'll hit another ad read for Game On Winnipeg, which I'm not getting tired of doing Game On ad reads, but I'm just a little annoyed that we don't have Game On Winnipeg yet. So Game Over. What you're listening to now has you covered after the game, but in order to get ready to watch the Jets, you got to get your game on too. So Game On Winnipeg will be a short-form daily news podcast covering everything you need to know about the Winnipeg Jets, and it's all going to be in under 10 minutes. Quick little hits about what happened the night before, what's going on with the team, any recent NHL news, and all that stuff. You can find that Monday through Friday on the Game Over Winnipeg YouTube channel and in podcast form, which you can find at thegameovernetwork.com/pages/Winnipeg. As I said, we don't have Game On Winnipeg yet, so don't bother looking, but we have Game On for every other NHL city, I believe, for Game Over Network. And it's great. I like to check it out daily, just see what some of the other markets are up to. It's just a good way to get the fix on your team. So hopefully we get that sorted out here in Winnipeg soon, and we'll get you some more content. But in the meantime, you got to listen to me and Brendan Labarre's Jets post game shows. Yeah. Anybody in the chat? We got 3 people watching. If you're here, please say hello. And I love talking to a wall. For the third period, let's talk a little bit about Cole Perfetti, who I and a lot of Jets fans, and you got to think the Jets management and the coaching staff are getting increasingly more frustrated with Perfetti. What exactly do we have in this? What exactly is this player? What can this player become? What's his potential? What's kind of going on? Because he don't got it. I think there's a lot of hope in Perfetti, like him becoming like a solid top 6 player for the Jets. He's been given lots of opportunity so far this year. He just doesn't have it at all. I kind of feel like he does have points. Like he's got 15 points in 22 games this year. Just 4 of them are goals. So points wise, it's not like he's having a terrible season, but he's a very complimentary player. He's very passive. He's not a line driver. Like a Nick Ehlers is, like a Niederreiter is. He's just very. He's not a physical player. He's not a very fast player. He's not. If he wasn't a 10th overall draft pick, I don't think he'd be playing in the top 6 for the Jets right now. He had that kind of contract holdout a little bit that it wasn't. I don't know if the Jets, necessarily want to pay this player, long term at this point. I think there was a lot of people. I think the Jets team, when they drafted Cole Perfetti, I think they initially wanted him to become, a centerman, for the Jets, and quite frankly, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think Cole Perfetti's ever going to be a center for the Jets. I don't think he has the chops, the skill, the quickness. I think he's going to be glued to the wing, for his entire tenure here. But I don't know. I also think the Jets aren't, obviously they're not giving up on this player. I'm just concerned about, his potential, what kind of player he's going to become. He's a player that I haven't touched fantasy hockey wise. I've never had him on my team. I've never thought about trying to get him because I kind of know what he brings to the table. It's a lot of some points with empty calories, not many shots, hits, or blocks, and he's also very injury prone, and he's also not, like I said, he's not a physical player. This is a player that for being a Jets top 6 player last season, he was scratched come game 1 of the playoffs because he hasn't been able to play playoff hockey, that kind of level of physical brand of hockey that the playoffs bring. He wasn't the coaches and the management knew that he wasn't there yet, and he certainly has not taken any steps, this summer and this season to show that he's ready for that style of hockey. I wonder if it's time to call up a Brad Lambert or Nikita Chibrikov, and slot at least. Obviously, the goal is for Brad Lambert to come in and be the second line center at some point. Not this season, but or this season, but at some point, Brad Lambert is going to be a top 6 player for the Jets very soon. And not so, and Chibrikov I see more as a third line player, but long term I see Braden Yeager coming in and being that second line center as well, possibly maybe moving Lambert to the wing or vice versa. So you have Yeager and Lambert coming in. Lambert should be in at least by next season at the latest. Yeager is going to be here within 3 years. Two players that are that look like they look like they're going to be better hockey players than Cole Perfetti. So Cole Perfetti is going to get some rope here. He's going to get quite the leash, I think, for most of this regular season. And let's see what he is. Because right now it's not been has not been too fun to watch. I'm worried usually when he's on the ice most of the time. He doesn't bring anything to the table except some decent hands and can pass the puck. I think there's a lot of things that he can be working on to help make him a better NHL player. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of time to figure it out. Maybe he's a late bloomer, but I have not loved Cole Perfetti's game. I've said I don't want to hate on him. Like, I want to like him, but there has not been a lot to love about Cole Perfetti this season. So yeah, let's do another ad read before we get over to overtime. I'll throw the merch up on the screen actually too, so I know there's a bunch of people watching this right now. Yes. So the merch is on the screen right now. There's a QR code there. What better way to support something you love than by rocking it as clothing? Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique designs. Whether you feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, and we're back. Sorry, we can disconnect for a second. Get this off the screen. All right, I guess we're going to wrap up the show. I don't see anybody in the chat. Any questions at all? The Winnipeg Jets will be back in action on Wednesday night. They'll be playing on the road against the Los Angeles Kings at 9 o'clock Central as they continue this long road trip. I believe they're flying tonight to LA. They'll have a day off tomorrow, maybe a little practice. Then they'll have morning skate Wednesday. They'll do battle with the Kings. The Jets are kind of on a very tough schedule. I'm kind of waiting to see when the schedule gets a little easier. Aside from the Pittsburgh game, the Jets have had kind of a murderer's row of hockey teams as of late. And I'm going to include Nashville in there because we saw, what should be a very good Nashville team. Obviously they're not doing good in the standings, but they played very good against the Jets. I think a lot of pundits were, concerned about this Winnipeg Jets schedule in, November and thought, this is where they would falter a bit. And here we are, 18-4. 18-4, just incredible. The NHL's best team by a mile, by about, 4 to 6 points. The next closest team to us is the Devils. They're 15-7-2. They've lost 9 times. They're only 4 points back, but they've played 2 extra games. So it's been very impressive what the Jets have done. We're going to play LA on Wednesday night. That's going to be a tough game. LA's been, one of the top teams in the Pacific Division this year. They're in a top 3 playoff spot. They're very deep. So it's going to be another good test. And yeah, I will see you all after that game. It's going gonna be a late night, 9 o'clock start, so I should be here around 11:45, midnight. 18-4. Jets just knocked off the second best team in the league so far this year, Minnesota, 4-1. Thank you, Connor Hellebuck. You know, that's why you're the Vezina Trophy winner year in, year out. You're the best goalie in the world, and the Winnipeg Jets and the Jets fans are very lucky to have you. So when you go to sleep tonight, you know, pray to Connor Hellebuck. You know, because I think that's what the Jets management does. All right, have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you on Wednesday. All right, peace. Take care.